Welcome to Insomnia Month. I'm chatting with Annika Carroll. Annika, tell us all about what you do, who you are, how you help people.
Yes, I am a women's sleep and health coach. So I help women who cannot fall asleep, cannot stay asleep, wake up and feel tanked, have fatigue, have with that often digestive problems, because I look at sleep from what we call a functional perspective. So yes, I work with people on sleep hygiene, stress management, things that we need to do to relax and be able to fall asleep. But I also look at their gut health, at their hormones, hello perimenopause, minerals, vitamins, heavy metals, all kinds of things, that neurotransmitters, things that unfortunately get messed up in our bodies and then cause inflammation often, and cause cortisol to rise, our stress hormone, and then people can meditate their heart out and they won't be able to fall asleep.
Yeah. And it's such a biggie in perimenopause. Like, so many women find that their sleep suddenly changes. Like, they might have always been pretty good at just getting off to sleep, wake up when the alarm goes off, and suddenly they're awake through the night. And for a lot of women it's fairly simple, and I know there are way more complex things, but for a lot of women it's fairly simple. They wake up because they need to go to the loo, and then they can't get back to sleep, or they wake up because they're too hot because they've had night sweats, and then they can't get back to sleep. And I mean, you must see all of this, but where do we start?
I think we start by making sure that our body knows when it's supposed to have energy and when it's supposed to slow down. And that's called our sleep-wake cycle, or our circadian rhythm. People might have heard about that. So we want to make sure we get good amounts of daylight in the morning. Ideally, you wake up and you get outside and you get light. If you have a dog, like I know you do,
Yes.
you walk them. And it's great because you're already outside, right? If you don't have a dog, either open your window all the way and look outside before you touch your phone, or go outside, walk around the block, literally 5 to 10 minutes. That's all you need to do. Then your body knows, okay, it's daytime, there's natural light, I need to push energy into the system. And when you do that for a couple of days, even, people often report, I don't need my afternoon coffee anymore. So that then helps us fall asleep better already, because we don't have caffeine in the system. And then a lot of people have heard about melatonin, our sleepy hormone, but also something you can buy in most countries over the counter.
Not in the UK.
Not in the UK, because it's a hormone, and that's actually why they prescribe it. And people take it to sleep, and often it doesn't work. But our body makes a tiny amount of melatonin by itself, and that's what we need to support. So at night, we want to get off our phones, because that blue light just keeps melatonin from coming in. We want to lower our lights at home. We want to make it not like cave yet, but think about people who used to sit around a fire at night, right? Sing songs, read stories, tell stories, socialize, be in a calming environment with dim light. And then when we go to sleep, make sure our bedroom's not too warm in general, because we need our body temperature to drop to fall asleep. And then if we get hot, like night sweats, hot flushes, we want that bedroom to be cooler anyhow, ideally. And make your bedroom dark. No lights in there. No phone that's push notification lighting up. Even alarm clocks that blare blue light or green lights, don't have those. Or buy on Amazon, there's this red tape. It sounds funny, but it's red tape, and you just tape it over that. If you have like a digital alarm clock, just tape it over and make it red. Just so that blue light isn't coming in all the time, that your windows have blackout curtains, or that you wear a sleep mask, that it's really, really dark. So your body can push out as much melatonin as it can, so you can sleep. Or if you wake up because you have to go to the bathroom, that you then don't see those bright lights, and the body's like, oh, good morning. And you're like, no, it's 2:30. Thank you. I was going to go back to sleep, but then you're up.
Yeah. No, and I think everybody watching this will know that feeling of like, oh God, I'm awake. And sorry, there's a dog just digging up under the table. I don't know if you can hear that noise, but she's just like digging everything. But yeah, it's you know, we see a lot of stuff like in magazines and things about, you know, sort of sleep hygiene, and we kind of all know, you know, no caffeine after whatever time, you know, limit screen time in the evenings and stuff. But actually, how you've explained it there about how it's actually impacting our melatonin and how that can help, I think is a really useful thing to understand, because otherwise it sort of feels like we're just being told to do something, at which point we go, well, I'm not going to because I don't know why. I'm just being told to do it.
Exactly. No, there's science behind it, right? This is biology, and the body just isn't, we are not adapted to blue light. We came from thousands and thousands and thousands of years back, and our bodies haven't adapted to that. And it's actually, studies are showing it. It's harmful, and we're exposed to it all the time, and we're indoors all the time on screens. So our body constantly thinks it's early in the day and pushes, but that prevents that melatonin to really kick in and help you sleep.
Yeah. So for people who, I think I'm going to look at two different bits here. So there's the people who can't get to sleep, and then there's the people who wake up and can't get back to sleep. I'm assuming that's two different issues or potential ways of resolving it.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. If you cannot fall asleep, like you lay there and you stare at the bedroom ceiling and you're like, oh my God. If you start thinking about it and you start getting anxious about it, it's not going to happen. Sleep is just like that. If you think about it to come, it won't, because you're stressed. You're literally releasing cortisol that suppresses melatonin, so you can't sleep. If somebody has that, women often report that this tired and wired feeling at night, or like you get that second wind. It's like, oh my God, I'm exhausted when I come home. I could lay on the couch, and then come 9:30 p.m. and I'm like, okay, let's clean the kitchen, like top to bottom. Where's all this energy coming from? That's often an adrenal issue. That's when the adrenals, these little glands over top of your kidneys, just release cortisol, your stress hormone or energy hormone, at the wrong time. And there we have to really look at what's going on. Why is this going on for you? Do you have food sensitivities? Do you eat things regularly at night that your body doesn't deal well with, and your blood sugar spikes and then your cortisol goes up? Or are you just stressed? Are you not eating all day, and then you're eating at night for the first time, like a proper meal, and your body's like, oh, thank you, now I have energy, let's go? Can be, right? Are you really somebody who doesn't get a lot of light, who doesn't get a lot of movement during the day, because you're sitting in a cubicle and work there, right? And is that starting to really mess with your sleep-wake cycle? So that's something we would definitely look at. Is how's your gut doing in general? Like if we can't sleep and it's not just maybe anxiety related or stress related, and even if it is, it eventually will affect your gut, and then we have an issue there potentially. So, and then the people who wake up in the middle of the night, it's lots of things. It could be anxiety. It could be like you're stressed and you have this, we connect sleep cycles. So we go through like 90 minutes and another sleep cycle comes. And sometimes we're awake. We are all awake in between those cycles, but we often don't know.
Yeah.
But sometimes we do, because it takes longer to connect them maybe. And when we're stressed, we have this, oh, I'm going to turn around, tuck myself in. And then you're like, oh my God, tomorrow I'm going to have to do that. Or I forgot to do this, and then bang, like it's there, right? You're stressed. And some people are okay and like just parking that. And for other people, this becomes a full-blown reaction. And they're like, yeah, thank you. There goes my night. That was it, right? And so that is something we can work on. It could also be a blood sugar issue. For a lot of women, blood sugar might either rise or drop too low overnight. And that is like your 1 to 3 a.m.s community. And when you wake up and you're hungry, you sometimes notice that you might wake up and you're already hungry. You're like, did I not eat enough dinner?
Yeah.
Then it's likely a blood sugar thing. And then you just maybe check how much you were eating throughout the day. Maybe a little snack before dinner might get you over that. Liver, huge thing from a Chinese medicine perspective. The liver detoxifies all the time, but more in the middle of the night. Our system changes so much in perimenopause, like our gut microbiome changes, estrogen goes down. With estrogen going down, the microbiome lets more bad guys, but like we often get bacterial overgrowth. If women start supplementing progesterone, that can lead to candida overgrowth. The liver has to deal with all these toxins that are being released from the gut into the system. And then we're maybe on some over-the-counter meds that we're giving ourselves, some painkillers. Maybe people are on some sort of mood enhancers or whatever else there might be. We might be having the odd glass of alcohol. All that stuff really, like the liver has to work very hard. And that can then also lead to nighttime wake ups. And the other interesting thing you were mentioning with the we have to go to the bathroom, that is always an interesting one because technically, biologically, we are made to be able to hold that and not notice that through the night. Well, yeah, if I pound a liter of tea or water at night and that, yeah, then would that at some point need to leave the system? Yes, but assuming I had something to drink like an hour or two before bed and then I went to bed, I technically should make it through the night. Often it's that we wake up and then we think we have to go to the bathroom. It just kind of occurs that I'm like, oh, I'm up. Oh no, I could go to the bathroom. Well, had I slept, I probably wouldn't have been woken up from pressure of having to go to the bathroom. It can also be sometimes a salt thing that that our electrolytes aren't balanced, our magnesium, calcium, sodium, and potassium. Because we don't, like, even if you eat healthy, it's likely not great, that level. But if sodium gets too low in comparison, that can actually have an effect of you waking up and having to go to the bathroom. So those are all things that can happen in the middle of the night. And then it's kind of digging into with the person, what is their piece of the puzzle, right? Can your hormones be affected? Yes. Progesterone helps you fall asleep. Estrogen helps you stay asleep. But do you need to go on HRT to sleep? I don't think so. Like, can it support that potentially? Yes. But I see so many clients who are on HRT, they come on HRT already, and they're not sleeping. And it's not the problem. It's not the progesterone that they're taking. It's not the estrogen that they are on. It's their gut is a mess. Because of that, their dopamine, their adrenaline, their serotonin, all those neurotransmitters that either make us happy or calm us down are messed. And their liver is struggling. They have heavy metals in their system. Like there's all kinds of things that you cannot fix with oral progesterone or an estrogen patch. Like,
and I think there is this kind of belief or hope, maybe actually hope, I think is probably that if we get our hands on some HRT, then everything will be better. And it overlooks the fact that we're exhausted, we're stressed, we're not necessarily eating very well, we're not caring for ourselves, we're mindlessly scrolling on our phones. And HRT can't resolve all of that, can it?
I totally agree with you. And I see a lot of women where it, like, especially the progesterone can help a little with sleep, but often it then comes like, oh yeah, that lasted for a little and now it doesn't anymore. Or I took magnesium and it helped me for a few weeks, but now it doesn't help me anymore. And I totally agree with you. HRT might be, and that's everybody's personal choice to go that route or not go that route. But it is one tool in your toolbox. It is, and it's, to me also, it's not the magic band-aid. It's not the, and that's my view from a functional perspective. If I go on HRT, which I might at some point, I will make sure my gut can metabolize estrogens properly. I will make sure my liver functions properly. I will make sure my body has all the building blocks it needs and that I take care of my nervous system, because I think then that can do its job. But otherwise, if we don't have the foundations, it's just like that magic pill that we're looking for with heart disease and high blood pressure and cholesterol and whatnot. That is not, like, that's just not the solution. It's a support, and I think it can help with symptoms, and the symptoms can prevent us often from doing foundational things because we feel crappy. Absolutely. Right? So if we get that right, then, and it's also a process, right? Like most people don't go on HRT and feel like $1 million immediately. It's a process that takes energy, that takes resilience to go through, right? So you need to have, like you're saying, you need to have your sleep, your nutrition, your nervous system support. You need to have these things, maybe not 100% intact, but en route in the right direction to then really be able to do that and to get the full benefit from it, I think.
So if someone's watching this, and I'm aware we could really dig deep in, and I don't want to like overwhelm people with too much information. So but if somebody's watching this and they're thinking, okay, you know, in the fullness of time, I might need to come and speak to you, but what can I do today? I guess what we're talking about is get outside in the morning.
Yes, absolutely.
Really important. Eat decent nutrition.
Yes, and in perimenopause, I would really focus on take out this crap stuff, like the ultra processed candy bars, all that stuff. Like it's not good for you in general, and is not right now. We need more nutrition than that. So protein, because we're losing muscle, healthy fats. Think your olives, avocados, nuts, seeds, all that yummy stuff. And then vegetables and fruits, like colorful things, should be on your plate, right? Like that's important. Then really avoid lights at night, like the screens, the bright overhead lights. Dim your lights, make it slowly dark. Give yourself a little bit of time to go to bed, like a wind down, right? Like decompress from the day, do something that you like. Maybe is it journaling? Is it just reading a book? Even if it's watching your favorite TV show, if it's on TV, I'm generally cool with that. Wouldn't watch the news at 10, but like if you want to rerun Friends, or I don't know what you like to watch, do that. That's totally fine. And really, I think the other thing that women, us in perimenopause, when we're like, kids are still there, potentially, parents are aging, do something for you that you enjoy. That, and it doesn't have to be anything big. Like you don't have, it doesn't have to be the spa weekend with your bestie, which is great too, but that's not what I mean. I mean the small things in a day that when you go to bed, that you can look back on and say, you know, that puts a smile on my face. The rest of the day was crap for whatever reason, because I felt like a mess, or people were not treating me right, or whatever it was. But that little thing where you say, oh, you know what, I did that today, and that actually makes me happy that I did it, because that helps the body to just feel okay with everything and not be in that spiral.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to add just one thing that I have found personally. This is based in no way scientifically. It's just I stopped worrying about it. And that's a really, it's easier said than done. I know that. But actually, I gave myself permission to be awake in the night.
Yes.
And I found that having done that, I get back to sleep because I'm not watching the clock and thinking, oh my God. I just go, okay, so I'm awake. Well, I'll just lie in the bed.
There's nothing you can, exactly,
Bed's
because
still
there's
really
nothing you can do
comfy
about
and
it.
I'm still curled up and this is nice. And you know, there's sometimes there's a night when that doesn't work, and I get that. But 9 times out of 10, actually, that I have found has been so beneficial. Just being able to go, okay, this is what it is.
And I think one thing that's really important that you just mentioned is I don't look at the clock. Because then you start doing math in your brain. You're like, oh my God, it's 2:30, alarm is at 6, that gives me, and you're like full on, like your brain's really, just don't look at the clock. It doesn't matter what time it is. Your alarm will go off when it's ready to go off. And until then, you're either you're going to fall back asleep or you lay there and rest. And if you get really anxious, get out of bed, because you're not going to fall asleep anyhow, and your bed is for sleeping, and we don't want that association of worrying and bed too much. So then you just get up and you read, or you yeah, don't work. I see a lot of women who are like, you know what, it's 3:30, I'm busy, I might as well open my laptop and answer all the emails I didn't get to yesterday. No, we're not
No.
working at that time. We're just gonna read a book, do whatever else. Even if you want to watch a show, I would even watch a show. Like, it doesn't matter. Just don't really work and engage in highly, like, cognitively stimulating things. And then when you get tired again, you go back to bed. And yeah, does it suck that you didn't sleep through the night? Yes, of course. I would have liked my 7-8 hours, but I didn't get it, and it's okay. And it's gonna be better another night. And that, I think, is sometimes very hard for people to get to, but once you get to that and that level of acceptance is there, it's gonna make it easier for sure.
Yeah. Okay, just quickly before we wrap up, you're based in Canada, but people can work with you from anywhere?
Anywhere,
Everywhere.
yeah.
Awesome. And I will put your details of how people can find you onto the end of here. That's been brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.